going on?
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ. You up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. It took about a year, but Nico Harrison, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, has lost his job. He has officially been fired. Now, he was, of course, the guy who executed one of the craziest trades in NBA history. Remember, last February, Nico Harrison on a Friday night trades a 25-year-old Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis then promptly, I think it was his first game, literally gets injured. He does something to his groin. He doesn't play basketball. The Dallas Mavericks have a bad rest of the season. But then they get the first pick. They get the lottery. They win the lottery, and they're going to get Cooper Flagg. And you say, okay, with Kyrie, with AD, with Cooper Flagg, maybe they've actually got something going in Dallas. Well, the start to the year has been bad. And then Tuesday morning, Nico Harrison, no more. He gets fired.
Essentially, this is a decision that had to be made for the Mavericks organization to move forward. Despite what was going on, there was still the chance from the crowd every single night that they lost home court advantage, and that is a huge part of the NBA. So they decided, I mean, it was actually kind of funny, though you don't want to see anyone ever lose their job, but the fact that Shams Charania came out and said, oh, they're going to fire him in 2 hours. So Nico probably gets this alert and he goes, oh, I guess I'm out of the job because they said that they're going to make it official. Michael Finley is coming in. He's going to be interim GM alongside Matt Riccardi. But the era is officially over. They can clean their hands, wash their hands of the Luka Doncic disaster because he was the franchise player. He was the guy who was going to fill the shoes of Dirk Nowitzki, the guy who was going to lead them back to the Western Conference Finals and potentially the NBA Finals and another championship. He didn't allow that to happen over a trade that is still a lot of people in the fan base are scratching their heads over. They thought maybe Cooper Flagg could help him save his job, buy him some more time.
I thought it might.
They're 3-8 on the season, and they're ready to move on, and Nico's out of the job.
Yeah, I do think he could have survived this, Lucas, because there is some hope with Cooper Flagg, although I don't know that he does anything great, and I don't certainly think he's going to be an NBA superstar. I think he's going to be a good player. I just don't think you're talking about, Victor Wembanyama when you're talking about Cooper Flagg. But I think as the losses mounted in this early season, you can just feel it. As a matter of fact, last night as the Mavericks were playing the Bucks, these chants were pretty loud. Watch this. When you hear that last night, you've got to say to yourself, it's only a matter of time. There is no way that could have continued. What was the record, Lucas, you say?
3-8.
3-8. So we're 11 games into the season. They've got 71 games left. That wasn't sustainable, Mojo. And Nico Harrison, he's out of a job right now. And I don't know. I mean, who hires this guy as an executive in the NBA? I don't think that team exists.
No, I wouldn't hire him right now.
No.
No way. This timeline, though, is interesting to me. I will say that. And I got to think a huge part of this had to have been because of the chance last night, right? Because, I don't know, if you're Nico Harrison, I can't imagine you make the Luka move without a conversation with your superiors, with your ownership, right? Like, I don't see that deal getting done without someone else above you signing off on that, right? And in that 100%. Case, they were in on that move together. So it's almost like joint blame with essentially Nico Harrison essentially being the scapegoat for this entire situation, right? So if your ownership, I can't imagine you're going to hold that entirely against him going into this season. They're worried that this is just going to continue to domino. It's just going to be a downfall. This is now going into dip into your pockets. You need that public scapegoat to be taken out for ticket sales to rebound, for fans to regain confidence in the team. I guess it's that. And again, all of that kind of stems from the chants in the arena. Otherwise, the personnel moves were done.
I think in a way they get rid of him and they can kind of close the book, close the chapter at least on Luka Doncic, and they can now move forward without Nico Harrison. Think about this. They had Micah Parsons on the Dallas Cowboys and they had Luka Doncic on the Dallas Mavericks. Those are two of the most dynamic and young players in the NBA and in the NFL, and they traded both of them away. It's shocking. You don't get generational talents like that. They don't grow on trees. Dallas had two of them. Now they've got none of them. All right, speaking of Micah Parsons playing Monday Night Football last night. Of course, Micah no longer on the Dallas Cowboys, but the Green Bay Packers were taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the game had a lot of defense, not a whole bunch of offense, and certainly not a lot of scoring. The Eagles ended up beating the Packers 10-7. I want to talk about, Lucas, though, what happened before the game. So there was and this happened across the entire league this weekend, there was a moment of silence where the players, where the staff got to remember Marshawn Kneeland. Now, I think this was even more important, Lucas, to Micah Parsons because, of course, Marshawn Kneeland was the 24-year-old second-year player with the Dallas Cowboys who lost his life last week, as we have covered. Marshawn and Micah were teammates, not anymore because of Micah being on the Packers, but still a guy that he had a relationship with, a guy he was close with. They were on the same defensive line together. And last night then, because of that, Micah Parsons, that moment of silence, it was special to him. And he got down on one knee and he said a little prayer. And it was clear that this was something that has really touched the NFL star.
Right. And Monday also marked the first day back at the facility for the Cowboys, and Solomon Thomas opened up about what that was like. He said it was a very hard day, but Brian Schottenheimer, who's the head coach of the Cowboys, did an amazing job of bringing everyone together and giving them the resources that they needed in order to cope with what had happened. This is a teammate, a brother, a friend that they had lost, and he really commended them for bringing in independent psychologists as well as therapists and anyone who was, able to help them out in a situation like that. And Solomon actually said via the Cowboys website, he was extremely proud of Coach for how he conducted today, just bringing therapists in the building, bringing people who we needed in the building, and just letting us be our true emotions, giving us a safe place to let everyone know what's going on inside. We needed a day just to be human and to cry and to let everyone know how we felt. And Solomon Thomas is someone who was actually personally impacted by suicide as well.
Oh, really?
He lost his sister and actually founded a charitable effort in her honor to help those the youth as well as minorities who might be struggling, to give them avenues and resources to help them through troubling times. And they had an event Monday night, and he said, look, if you guys want to come through, great. If not, I completely understand. And he said several teammates actually joined him and helped him in that cause. So it looks like the Cowboys are really rallying together in something that is absolutely devastating and tragic for them.
Yeah, and anyone out there, and I've already seen comments, why do the guys need psychiatrists, or why do they need help? Why do they need to talk to people? Like you said, this is a brother of theirs. This is somebody who they spent day in, day out, hours and hours upon hours, not just a teammate, but and not even just a friend, but more like a brother. And you can imagine that the entire football team is devastated. And yeah, this is the type of thing that, as tragic as it is, you could see it bringing the football team together. And like Lucas said, Solomon, and I'm sure his teammates appreciate that the Dallas Cowboys and that Coach Schottenheimer handled this the way he did. It's a horrible story. Rest in peace to Marshawn Kneeland. Up next, Dana White joins the show to preview a huge UFC 322 card this weekend. Plus, the UFC president responds to Francis Ngannou saying a fight against John Jones would be the biggest fight ever. Stay with us. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. We're just a couple days away now from an absolutely massive fight as the UFC returns to New York City, Madison Square Garden. And if you're an MMA fan, this is a great card because you've got a bunch of people who have all been champions going for double champ status here, and we are so lucky to be joined by the man who puts all these fights together, the great Dana White. Dana, how are you, brother?
I'm good. Even if you're not an MMA fan, this is a great card.
It really is. And you know, that's the best thing, I think. One of the best things about the UFC is that it's not just the main event. It's not just the co-main event. You've got just banger after banger after banger. It's always that way. What are you most excited about, Dana? Is it the main event here? Or what are you looking forward to most Saturday night in New York City?
Well, every time you're excited about the co-main and main event, but you got to love the Edwards Pradas fight is a great fight. The Brady fight too.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, when you look at the entire main card, every fight really means something, and there's a lot at stake for everybody.
Yeah, right. There's title implications, I think, with all of these fights. You've got the two title fights at the top there. Talk to me about Islam, Dana, and just what he's been able to do. Obviously, he's been so dominant, and now he tries to become the latest guy who has 2 belts.
Yeah, and it's true. When you look at both of these guys, Jack and Islam, you know, Islam's moving up to try to take the belt from him. You know, Islam's on a 15-fight win streak, and Jack is on an 18-fight win streak. So, you know, these guys haven't lost a fight in years. And, you know, Jack burst onto the scene coming off the Contender Series, goes all the way up and beats Bilal Muhammad, which is not easy to do. So if he can beat, he just beat Bilal, now if he can beat Islam, Jack Della Maddalena is a bad dude.
And how about on the other side of it, Dana, if Islam is able to go in there and win, just how impressive has his run been? Obviously, he doesn't have the undefeated record like Khabib did, but I mean, still the level of competition, the quality of competition that he has fought and beat, doesn't seem like he's ever run from a challenge.
Exactly right.
He's
fought and beat everybody. He's beat everybody. Now he's moving up another weight class. Right now he is ranked number 2 in the pound per pound behind Ilya. This will knock Ilya off the number 1 spot if he beats Jack on Saturday, and he will, you know, be a double champ. Yeah. Has beat everybody, and will be the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world.
Talk to me about the co-main event and just, I mean, 2 incredibly talented women. For Valentina, a lot of people already thought Valentina was very close to what Amanda Nunes had accomplished. How about this fight if she was to go in there and beat Weili? Where might that put her in the whole realm of things?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, if you look at how long Valentina Shevchenko has dominated, you know, that weight class and all the things that she's accomplished, and then you look at Weili and what she's done, another one. Weili's going to move up and take on the champ. This fight should be absolutely badass because Weili Zhang only has one gear, man, and it is forward, and she fights like a maniac. And it's going to be interesting to see how Valentina handles that pressure from Weili, and obviously Weili, how she's going to deal with the size and possible strength advantage that Valentina is going to have. Another great fight.
How's June 14th coming along? Are you is it starting to shape up? We had, I don't know if you've seen this, Francis Ngannou the other day said that he versus John Jones is still the biggest fight ever. Any chance?
That's the biggest. I would hate to disagree with them, but the biggest fight ever. First of all, Cyril and Tom have to fight again, and whoever wins that fight, them and John Jones will be the biggest one ever.
Dana, thank you, brother. I appreciate your time. Of course, UFC 322, Saturday night, Madison Square Garden. If you can't be there, ESPN Plus, get it. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, Dana.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Former Giants running back turned Dancing with the Stars champ Rashad Jennings is weighing in on the team's firing of Brian Daboll. Hear who he thinks is a perfect fit to lead Big Blue when TMZ Sports rolls on right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Of course, New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll was fired yesterday. This after another double-digit fourth quarter collapse for the G-Men. To Brian Daboll, after 3.5 seasons at the helm, he gets fired 20-40-1. Now the question becomes, Mojo, who is the next head coach of the New York Giants? There's a lot of names being thrown out there. Somebody who has an idea of who could be the right fit, the right guy for this job. We've had in New York a bunch of coaches who have not had a bunch of success, I think 4 in a row now. Mojo, I talked to Rashad Jennings yesterday. Rashad Jennings, who was with the Giants for a couple of years, was a nice running back, good running back in New York City. He's got an idea for the hire. Take a look.
I don't see anybody that's just a must-have right this second. I think Jackson Dart is a special player. I think he's going to develop to be one of the top guys. He's going to be in the top 10, top 5 arguments over the next couple of years. So you got to bring in somebody that got a good offensive mind to help him, but somebody that's going to lock down the defense, man. Out of all the coaches that have coached, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked Spags to come back to lock down that defense and get an offensive-minded coordinator to take over the offense.
So there it is, Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo, who has won Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator in New York. Mojo, he obviously has had an incredible amount of success then after the Giants with the Kansas City Chiefs, where he runs that defense, which is one of the better defenses in the league. And Rashad says, bring Spagnuolo in. Spags coaches the team. You get a guy who is an offensive-minded coach to be the coordinator, and off you go.
Hey, I do love defensive coaches, so there's that. But, I mean, this move could make a lot of sense. He's familiar with the area. He's probably familiar with the talent. They've done incredible things over in Kansas City. That goes without saying. Won multiple Super Bowls over there, but also being able to study under Andy Reid, who's been one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. I mean, this is all rounding out a resume, but this is a guy that has an unbelievable amount of experience, has been in the game forever. So I don't know. I think this one makes a lot of sense. I don't know if there's a surefire winner, to Rashad's point. I think I agree with that assessment right there, but this does make all the sense in the world. But I'm not going to comment too much about this, Babcock. That's your squad. That's your team. That's your boys. So I want to hear more about your opinion, buddy.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea. I like the idea of Spags over a lot of the other coordinators who have been named. I mean, I've seen people go as far to say Robert Saleh should be the head coach, as if we didn't watch what happened with the New York Jets and Robert Saleh the last couple of years. So some of these names are wild to me. I think I prefer somebody who has got some head coaching experience. I think that's something I would probably look for here going forward. I know Mike McCarthy, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy has had his name thrown out there. Nobody standing out as the must hire at this point, Mojo. There are some guys who have jobs in the league right now whom I'd love to have. I mean, Sean Payton, somebody like that, but that ain't going to happen. There are coaches. What do you think, Sean?
What about Bill Belichick?
Nah.
Why
too
not?
old.
Bro.
Come here.
What?
Bill Belichick to me, if it's not Bill Belichick, the greatest coach ever, it's Vince Lombardi. He's one of the 2 best coaches ever. He's just mid-70s, and I think he's just too old.
What if him and Jordan break up? What about then?
Well,
Yeah, we don't need that energy.
we don't need her.
Honestly, the Wags would have made her. You
Right.
need to go.
Right.
They don't play at that in New York.
Jordan, Jackson. I mean, no. I love Bill Belichick. I think greatest coach ever. If Sydney Sweeney is serious about taking a charity boxing match, she could have one of the most dangerous women on the planet in her corner. Clarissa Shields makes an offer to Sydney Sweeney when TMZ Sports returns right after this.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Lucas Widman here. Sydney Sweeney says she's down to take a celebrity charity boxing event after training her butt off to play Christy Martin in the new biopic Christy. And there is someone who is down to be in her corner if she does decide to do that. And that is none other than Clarissa Shields, the GOAT, the greatest female boxer to date. And here is what she told TMZ Sports about the possibility.
Sydney Sweeney's playing Christy Martin. And she recently said she might be down to fight. She said she might be doing something for charity. She might be down for something like that. Would you recommend it?
I think every woman should get into a fight. I don't know. That's just how my mind works. I think everybody should experience one, win, lose, or draw. But if she played Christy Martin and I heard she did MMA back in her younger years, hell, why not? And if she needs some help training, girl, call me. I give you some GOAT tips. I'm happy that Christy Martin got her biopic. She deserves it. And I think in women's boxing, we're probably the only two that have one. Is it me and Christy? And then like $1 Million Baby, but those aren't real.
That ain't real.
Right? No, real biopics about real people, I believe, is myself and Christy Martin. So congrats to Christy.
I don't know about you, Mojo, but it sounds like an absolute no-brainer to me.
Well, hold on a second here. Did Clarissa say she was going to train her or just call her and give her some tips? That part wasn't totally clear to me. I need some clarification, because if we're just talking about a phone call and dropping some knowledge, I don't know if that's going to be enough for essentially a first-time boxer. But if we're talking about getting in there, getting your hands dirty, getting in the trenches, well, hey, man, I don't know if you can think of a better coach right here, because that is an undefeated boxer. A lot of mainstream entertainment value there, too. So she kind of speaks Sydney's language on the entertainment front. So that probably would help with the learning curve and being able to reach the talent that you're coaching up. But, I mean, I think this is a heck of an offer, man. If she's serious about taking a fight, which she's got to be pretty gassed up from training for this movie for so long and portraying that character and really getting in the mind of Christy, then that could make a lot of sense. I mean, you know, if she takes a fight, that following is going to be mega.
And we're going to have to stay tuned to see if Sydney Sweeney gives Clarissa Shields a call. And people will have to tune in on Wednesday, Mojo, where it's going to be
the best show since today. Done that in a little bit. Nice, Lucas.
I'm a lawyer.